Hello friends, today we are going to discuss our public participation process. So how public participation takes place, how from informing to citizen empowerment, how different type of planning participation of public can take place in different stages of the planning. So first of all, let us interest what is public interest. So things which benefit or things for the betterment of society decided by the majority decisions concerned with citizen objective that satisfy people socioeconomic or political well-being, fulfillment of basic needs or accessibility to the amenities. So these anything which has public and which has the interest of the public for their benefit will be termed as public interest. So the welfare or the well-being of the general public or the Commonwealth appeal or relevance to the general public populace will be termed as public interest. So a general definition can be derived that anything affecting the right, health or finance of the public at large. Public interest is a common concern among citizens in the management and affairs of local, state and national governance. It does not mean mere curiosity, but in a broader terms, it refers to the body politic and the public will. Forms of public interest: environmental protection, human rights, consumer rights, citizen rights, welfare of the common people, etc. And the methods and related jobs are PIL like public interest litigation, advocacy, raising voices, sharing concerns, discussing issues. History and significance of public interest. Public participation is a part of people-centered or human-centric principle which have emerged in Western culture over the last 30 years. Public involved when the right come cramped in the sectors like education, business, public policy, and international relief and development programs. Public participation may be advanced as a part of people first paradigm shift. Earlier government was making any plan or making any development and then giving it to public. Now the public wanted to take active participation in the process of planning and decision making at every stage. The role of public participation in economic and human development was enshrined in the 1990 African Charter for Popular Participation in Development and Transformation. In 1990, practitioner established the International Association for Public Practitioners in order to respond to the increasing interest in the practice for public participation, and now it is functioning as well as established recognized organization in the world. European Institute of Public Participation was established in 2009, which is working very well in this sector. Democracy and public participation are closely interrelated or connected. In every democratic society, people have active public participation, and this is ensures the real character of the democracy. The right to participation also have been advanced in the context of equality and group right, mean to ensure equal and full participation of designated group in the society or in any other activity. Public participation now regarded as one of the potential solutions to the crisis in public trust and governance in democracy at different level of the governance like local, state or central government. Public participation increases public trust in the authority, improving citizen political efficacy and even providing the quality of the in the political decision making. Public participation is used as a tool intended to inform planning, organizing, or funding of activities. Public participation may also be used to measure attainable objective, evaluate impact, and identify lessons for the future practices in different sectors of planning and development work. Public interest law is a term that became widely adopted in the United States during and after the social turmoil of 1960s. It built upon a traditional exemplified by Louis Brandeis, who became the US Supreme Court Justice, incorporated advocacy for the interest of the general public into legal practice. In late 1960s and 70s, large number of American law school graduates began to seek relevance in their work, wishing to have an effect on the social issues that were so visible and hotly debated within American society. Public interest has been considered as one of the core of the democratic theory of governance and often paired with two other concepts of convenience and necessity. Public interest, convenience and necessity appeared for the first time in Transportation Act of 1920 and appeared again in the Radio Act of 1927. So, what is public participation? The public participation is based on the belief that those who are affected by a decision have a right to be involved in the decision making process. So, public participation is a process by which an organization consult with the interested or affected individuals, groups, organizations, local bodies, or social groups, and the government entities come together before making a major decision. Public participation is a two-way communication and collaborative problem-solving measure with the goal of achieving better and more acceptable decisions by all the parties. Citizen participation like equality, political tolerance, accountability, transparency, regular free and fair election, economic freedom, control of the abuse of power, Bill of Rights, accepting the result of election, human rights, multi-party system, rule of law. These are all outcome of the public participation. So in the identified basic principles which must exist in order to have a democratic governance, people participation is a top priority. One of the most basic significance of democracy is the citizen participation in government process. Participation is the key role of citizens in democracy. It is not only their right, but it is also their duty to participate in the election process, governance process. Citizen participation may take many forms, including standing for the election, voting in the election, becoming informed, debating issues, attending community or civic meetings, being member of the private voluntary organization, paying taxes, even protesting, participating, building, and all these activities lead to making a democracy better. So methods of public participation. The University of Wisconsin Guide lists 5 levels of involving citizens in the comprehensive planning process. So first is public partnership, formal involvement in meaningful decision-making process, public interactions enabling effective dialogue between citizen and government, public input, communication to local government from citizen, public education providing information and education to the public about the different plans and development process, public awareness communication to the citizen from local government using local media, mass media, or any other medium. Do public participation really work? So, for public participation to work in a democratic society, if public participation is not working in a society, then we cannot say that it is a democratic society. So, this is the hallmark of a democratic society that public participation will surely take place. From voting to running for office, organizing protest groups, joining active organizations, most of us either participate or practice or believe in active Which role of the citizens in the government affairs? Public participation has come to define good planning. A comprehensive planning should be done with people and not for the people. Public participation builds trust and support. Most people distrust any plan done in secret by some unknown expert and suddenly unveiled. There is little chance of a plan that has no ownership by the public of being effective and usable by the general public. So, what is community engagement? Community engagement is a dimension of the public participation in research. Community engagement is a process of inclusive participation that support mutual respect of values, strategies, and actions for the authentic partnership of the people affiliated with or self-identified by geographic proximity, a special interest, or similar situations to address issues affecting the well-being of the community. Community engagement is a core element of any research effort involving communities. It requires academic members to become part of the community and community members to become part of the research team, and thereby creating a unique working and learning environment for both parties before, during, and after the research work is done. Who knows the community better than the people who live there? So there are things that statistics, survey, and observations can't tell us that are only apparent to those who live there day in and day out. You need to find out what they know. The first step is to get as much constructive publicity as you can, explain the need for the plan, and ask for the ideas and volunteers. Use the news media with the articles in local newspaper, interviews on radio talks, and cable access program. Keep coverage going as the plan progresses so that people are well informed and they are more active for participation in the planning process. A citizen planning committee is usually a good idea. It should be big enough to bring in representatives of all the geographic, ethnic, or economic element groups of the community, and you need people to work over the long period. What are the ways for the contribution by the public? There are many ways. Some of the more common one are community survey, interviews, mailed questionnaire, public meeting, workshop, speeches to the service club, business, school, church group, neighborhood associations. Record the idea and comment that you get from them. A word of caution, take citizen participation seriously and use it. This is not a place for tokenism. If the people find that you are playing games with them, and you will create such hostility to the plan that it is likely to be worthless. Public interest in its form. Public interest comes when potential affected people come together interested in a decision making, lack of innovation, initiative, knowledge share, administrative ignorance of public views. And forms of the public participation can be in the form of large scale consultation, focus group research, online discussion forum, deliberative citizens juries, and 100% involvement of the public. Public participation may be regarded as a way of empowerment and is a vital part of democratic governance system in the world. Impediment to the public participation and conditions for effective participation. Effective public participation depends on the public access to the accurate and comprehensive information. Hence, law regarding public participation often deal with the issue of the right to know, access to information, and freedom of information, avoiding negligence of the public interest at local, state, or central by the government, the representative, and bureaucracy, avoiding all gaps among the stakeholders and authorities for sharing information. It has become a central principle of the public policy making to include public participation at every stage. Countries like Netherlands, Germany, Denmark, and Sweden have freedom of information provisions in their legal system since Middle Ages. Since 1970s, New Zealand numerous laws related to health, local government, environmental management require government officials to consult those vulnerable who will get affected by the matter and take their views into consideration before making any decision. In case of India also, the Lok Will or Right to Information Act was enacted for this purpose. In some countries, public participation has become a central principle of public policy making. In UK, it has become a mandate at all levels of government to build citizen and stakeholder engagement into their policy process. In the United States, public participation in administrative rule-making refers to the process by which proposed rules are subjected to public comment for a specified period of time before it can be enacted. Public participation is typically mandatory for rules promulgated by executive agencies of the United States government. Public participation became a tool intended to inform planning, organizing, or funding of activities related to development. Public participation has created a community hold on the public authorities for accountability and transparency and for implementation of the sub services. Methods of public participation. Sherry Ornstein from US in 1969 have written about citizen involvement in planning process by describing it through a ladder which ranges from high to low. So it is called a ladder of citizens participation. So lowest level is manipulation where policymakers just manipulate that citizens will get benefited from this policy. Then therapy, where the policymakers just understand what is their problem and then they plan for how it can be resolved. And the next level is informing. Herein the planners only plan and then they just inform that a plan has been made for their development. And the next level is consultation. Here the public is consulted, but their decision is not taken into account for modification of the plan or for change alteration in the plan. And the next level is placation. In placation, it is similar to consultation. They consult the people and they just ask their views and their opinions, but their opinions are partially implemented. It is just for tokenism. And next stage come partnership. Partnership where the public group, community groups are get engaged and they become partner in the development process. And next stage come delegated power. Here the public authorities make the plan, they provide the services, and then the services, some power of like maintenance of the services is then delegated to the public, and this is a public participation. And the last stage, that is the topmost, is citizen control, wherein all the planning process is controlled and devised by the citizen themselves. So this is a there has a great degree of citizen power. So this ladder of citizen participation has 8 steps. So first step is manipulation, then therapy, then informing, then consultation, then placation, then partnership, then delegated power, and the last one is citizen control. Participatory budget in Porto Alegre, Brazil, where the first full participatory budgeting process was developed in 1989, wherein the public opinion was involved and the people's concern were taken into account. A ladder is a guide to see who has power when important decisions are being made. So manipulation, both are non-participative, aim to cure or educate the participant. The proposal plan is based and the job of participation is to achieve public support through relation. And then informing, a most important first step to legitimate participation is to inform, but too frequently the emphasis is on one-way flow of information and no channel of feedback. So informing is just one way of communication and consultation. Again, a legitimate step of attitude survey, neighborhood meetings, and public inquiry, but Einstein still feels that this is a window dressing ritual. They just consult, but their concern is not taken into account. Application, for example, who option of hand, hand-picked over these onto committee. It allows citizens to advise or plan, but retain the power holders the right to judge the legitimacy or feasibility of the advice, and they most often don't consider them. Partnership, the power is in fact redistributed through negotiation between citizen and power holders. Planning and decision making responsibilities are shared through joint committee. Delegation: citizen holding a clear majority seat on committee with delegated power to make decision. Public now has the power to ensure accountability of the program to them. And the citizen control have not holds the entire job of planning, policy making and managing a program, that is neighborhood cooperation, with no intermediary between it and the source of fund. So the ultimate goal of public participation is to ensure that there is proper first inform, then consult, then involve them and collaborate, and then empower them. Until and unless you empower the social group, you cannot say that you have a good public participation process. Thank you for discussion. Now you can like the video and subscribe the channel and share this video with your friends. Thank you.